everyone. Welcome to episode 11 of The Wave. My name is Anasha Girma of Pratt Properties, powered by Century 21.
And I'm Executive Director of the Revere Chamber, Erica Porzio.
Today we have three amazing guests for you. First, Doreen DiRienzo, owner of Revere Karate, and she is, well, I kind of heard she's going to be showing us some amazing moves. Then we'll have Amanda Portillo, a woman of many hats, followed by a professional photographer and videographer, Kristina.
And for today's update on our calendar of events, this Friday, March 15th from 9:30 to 11:30, we will have our Chatting with the Chamber. That is actually going to be hosted and sponsored by, as well as at, the 4 Points by Sheraton. A special thank you to the 4 Points by Sheraton for catering this, sponsoring this, and holding this event for us. Thereafter, just a shout out for the State of the City address. As many of you guys know, Mayor Keefe will be holding that. That will be at 6:30 p.m. April 10th at the Susan B. Anthony School. And the Chamber will be there to support that. So we just want everyone in the community to know, be there. This is important stuff. Moving forward for the Chamber, Friday, we're looking at May 12th, or rather April 12th, excuse me, our installation of officers. So in case you don't know, this is our annual ceremony where we officiate and install the officers on our board of directors. We will be sworn in by oath with Mayor Keefe. And this is going to be held at the Marina at the Wharf from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Again, that is Friday, April 12th. Thereafter, on the 18th, April 18th, 6:30 to 8 p.m., we will have our monthly networking night. And this is really exciting, guys. Mike Aldi of Aldi Companies, everybody knows Mike, and in case you don't, go to Drift, go to Fine Line, it's a beautiful thing. But we're actually going to be showcasing his newest restaurant, Vivi. Okay, so as many of you know, Cut 21 was at that location for a long time. Vivi is now coming in, so we will be celebrating the opening of this amazing business, serving delicious tapas right on the beach. And again, that will be April 18th, our usual networking night hours, 6:30 to 8 p.m. And finally, had to showcase this. So we iterated this a bit in our last episode, still kind of fine-tuning a lot of the details, but we are having a very big cornhole tournament, which we're really excited about, and that's going to be happening on June 2nd. And we'll be having that at the Garfield School on the fields over there. And the Chamber will be reaching out and marketing this to the public to start building individual teams. Anasha, correct me if I'm right, I think probably about 100 teams, right? Something like that? Yeah, as I said, we're still fine-tuning it, but the bottom line is we're going to get everyone involved. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's June 2nd. So guys, to stay abreast of events, as always, go to our website, check out our Facebook or our Instagram. And those are our events for today. Thank you.
What an exciting series of events coming up, Erica. Thank you for sharing that. Now we're going to move to our first guest, Doreen.
Good afternoon and welcome back to The Wave. We have a special featured spotlight guest today, Doreen DiRienzo, experienced leader and business owner of Revere Karate. Welcome.
Welcome, Doreen.
Thank you, ladies.
So happy to have you join us.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
So let's just start from the top here. Yes. I know that we have, what, 51 years of experience to discuss here?
April 1st for me will make 51 years of training.
How awesome.
And thank you. And this past weekend, we celebrated the 44th anniversary of Revere Karate Academy.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's a big one. Most businesses don't survive 4 years, let alone 44 years. For me, it's gone by in a blink. I'm in my 5th decade, and I still can't believe it. It's, of all the students and families and people that I've gotten to meet and be part of their lives. It's just been an amazing journey and an honor and privilege, truly, to have taught so many people in the Revere and surrounding communities.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so let's start from the top. So I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, how did you start?
How did I start?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was 16. I was in high school, and I was looking to stay in shape for the summer. I had been pretty athletic. I was actually played on Revere High School's very first basketball team, very first softball team. So softball season was going, but I said, I want to do something to get in shape for basketball in the fall. So I joined, and when I took my first lesson, something awakened inside my soul, which I couldn't really explain. I felt I was in the right place.
Yeah.
I was the only girl in the school. I was with a bunch of real rough and tough kind of guys that didn't give me a break because I was female. My first teacher wouldn't let them. And here I am, still doing it. Something, just like I said, awakened, and I knew I needed to keep going and going and going. So here I am.
Yeah. And so what was it that kind of helped you kind of feel through that? Because like you said, I mean, it was predominantly gentlemen, right, in your class? Or
male. I don't
male,
call
or
them
we won't say gentlemen.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Especially in that generation.
Right. I mean, it was 1973, so female athletes of any kind weren't so honored and revered as they are today. So when I came home and said to my parents, I want to do karate, they were like, it was bad enough I wanted a baseball glove and a basketball. Now I want to learn.
Oh, not on.
What the heck, right? The only good thing I can tell you is they didn't stop me. They weren't happy, but they didn't stop me. And then I'll never forget, it was several years later after I'd had the studio. And my dad, we were having a special event, with a gathering with the kids and the families. And my dad came up to me and he said, Doreen, you're doing so much more than just teaching karate to these people. He said, they really love you, Doreen. They love you. You mean a lot to them. And that meant a lot because my dad probably was the one that was the most against me doing it, because my daughter's going to learn to fight. You're talking about in the 70s, Today it's like, yeah, my daughter better know how to fight.
Right,
It's a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
So anyhow, he turned and he we ran an international event. And just one more thing about that, it was in 2003. I hosted the International Karate Championships here in Revere. It was an amazing event, and my dad said, who's going to introduce you at the dinner? He goes, me.
Yep.
So he got up in front of this crowd. There was 700 people at this dinner, and my dad said, when Doreen came to me and said that she wanted to do karate, I told her, girls don't do karate, and everyone started booing. And he goes, but I was wrong.
Wow.
And I was like,
that's powerful.
Whoa, I'll take it. At the time, it was, he realized that I was, doing way more than just teaching people to kick and punch and beat each other up. Because that's kind of the byproduct of the process that you're able to do that. But, that's really not the focus of what we are all about at Revere Karate Academy.
And what are you guys all about?
My greatest hope and goal is for every student to become the best version of themselves. Sometimes when people go through a process of improvement and growth and challenge, they hit hiccups and obstacles that makes them want to quit and stop. And sometimes you coach them through that and you get them through that rough patch. Or sometimes it's just a lack of confidence where they don't think they can. And you're the person saying, yes, you can. I'll help you get there. Just stick with it. And when you see that happen as many times as I have, time and time again, it's just an amazing feeling to me that I've been part of that process. And, I love when the kids will say, oh, Mrs. C, I don't know where I'd be without you. I say, you'd be right where you are. You just chose me to help you get there. I don't take credit because they did the work. I just kind of pulled a little, pushed a little, and got them there.
Absolutely.
So they're the one that did it.
Have you had a time where you've actually had to use your karate skills in real life?
Oh, cool. That's a great question. I like this one.
That's funny. Like everybody thinks you're going to do like this Jackie Chan, jump up, spin around, take out 37 bad guys, and not mess your hair. Self-defense is different than actually fighting. I fought professionally for a few years.
Oh, wow.
So I did use my karate training, obviously, to do that. But like out in the street, in the public and stuff, I was with a bunch of friends. We were at a local place having a few, well, I always had soda water, but anyway, we were having a good time.
Right.
And this guy, he was a little little full of himself, and he came up to me and he started touching my shoulder, and I said, please don't do that. And he said, please don't do that. Then he goes, and he said, what's the matter? Don't you like to be touched? And he started to run his finger down my lapel. I grabbed him, I locked his finger up, and I put him on his knees, and I said, no means no. Now my friends were like,
Down boy.
now would you think of that, excuse me, as self-defense? Yeah, because that guy went home and probably said, I'm never going to touch a woman like that again, I hope.
Right, hopefully that
You
works.
define your boundary too.
Right, right. But the thing is, I didn't have to do anything more than that. So I didn't have to, you know,
Or you didn't have to drop kick him or anything.
embarrassed. I
Right.
got him off of me, and I embarrassed him, probably worse than if I punched him. That hurt much worse. So, you know, a couple situations like that, you know, nothing that I'd say like I got in a fist fight. So karate teaches you, I'm going to tell you something that happened to me 2 days ago. I'm in the gym, I'm working out, and say like this is the machine, I'm working out, I'm doing my exercise. I stopped, and this woman walked right between me and my machine, and I just kind of rolled my eyes. She turned around, flipped her hair and goes, you have a problem? And I go, I don't have a problem. I got my stuff and I moved to another machine. And, you know, anybody would say, why didn't you just like bust her teeth wide open? I'm not telling you that I didn't feel like that.
Right,
But
right.
that's not a fight I need to get in. So karate teaches you to,
Core disciplines.
Right, I was going to say that's the function of discipline.
why do I have to fight? You know, she went home with the story. Yeah, I told that old lady who she thinks she's, you know, and me, I'm going, I let her live another day.
She's
You know?
obviously not from around here.
No, but it just, even at that, it's like, you know, I'm an older person in the gym. She's clearly younger. Like, why disrespect your elders? It's just you know, it's terrible that there's not that, you know,
Level of respect.
what's that? The unconditional respect for your
Yes.
elders, you know, that you should have, you know, just be nice. And forget about elders, just another person, just be nice to one another.
How rude.
You know, so I just chose to walk away because I'm not going to get it. I will not get in a fight if I can 100% help it, you know. And the only time that I won't is if someone swings their hand at me or tries to grab me, then you have to do something, right? But you can definitely walk away, you know, of any verbal confrontation, and it's your choice, and that's the power that you have to choose not to get into an altercation with someone that doesn't deserve your attention. That's how I look at it. So.
Wow, you just piqued my curiosity. I wonder what some of your karate moves might look like.
Well, there's a lot of different moves, you know, a lot of different basics. There's a lot of different forms, and
Wow. Well, now that since you brought it up,
Mm.
do you think maybe you could show us something?
what would you like to see?
What do you think?
Say, I don't know, two people were having an altercation. One innocent, one the aggressor.
Well, that
How
sounds
should-
that sounds like something I did on a regular basis when I was a teacher at Revere High School. You know, like
We'll get into that one
no,
after.
no,
yeah.
but like I'd see
It's funny,
kids.
I was also a teacher.
No,
so.
no, but I would see kids getting like kind of a little too
Right.
close, and I'd walk up and I would kind of gently walk between them, and I'd say, "What's going on? He did this, he did that, he
mediate.
did this, he did that," and I'd say, "Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, he said he's sorry. Is there anything else you need to hear? No. Okay, can we shake hands and move on?" Like, you know, sometimes
Yeah.
to do something like that, you know, that takes quick thinking just as much as, you know, grabbing them and saying, "You're not supposed to be talking to me." What good is that going to do? You know, I was able to, you know, de-escalate the tension with words, and that's always the better way to do it. You know, of course I can show you, you know, something, you know, like I don't know exactly what you would like to see.
Well, let's say if you were willing to, if you wanted to kind of show our audience one of your moves that you think would be, you know, appropriate for this space.
Okay, so this first technique is if someone swings wildly at you. So, like, imagine somebody swinging around like that. So you're going to go, okay? And then, like, if somebody were to throw a straight right punch at you, all right? Just you know, just walk in and throw a straight punch. I go, and then it could be, say if somebody gave you a two-hand push, All right, with two hand push, so you're gonna go.
Yeah.
Whoa, that sent chills through my spine. How
You're so
powerful
fast, I
is
heard
that?
the whip. Like,
I
there's a whip
know.
crack. What do you call that?
Well, it's timing.
Okay.
You know, when you synchronize the movement of your arms and legs
Yeah.
together and you have excellent timing, you create a lot of power.
Wow. That was so cool to watch you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
So prior to starting the show today in this interview, you had told me that, you know, back in the day, or however you said it,
Yeah.
that you were even more powerful. So I just would hate to think that you would limit yourself, because that's ridiculous. And in
Well,
such a good way, I mean, you seem very powerful.
Like any
Absolutely.
athlete, you know, it's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady got to live out the athlete's dream. He was an older quarterback with the physicality and the years of experience. You get better with age, just sometimes your body can't keep up, especially playing at that level. For me, it's not so much that I play anymore. I don't compete, I don't fight competitively, but I can still teach, so my skills stay sharp, and you know, I'm always on the floor moving and demonstrating, so my skills, you know, do stay pretty sharp, honestly, yeah.
Yeah. Any practice with that, or just from, you know, of course, what you're doing on a regular basis with your students?
I always, you know, I believe too that every now and then I will jump in a class and learn the way someone else does it, you know, just make my body move a little bit different, do something a little more challenging, you know, just because that does help. But, you know, when you're teaching somebody, like, as an educator, I know that there's many modalities in which you can communicate information. So I'm always processing, how can I say it so this student understands it? So my ability to do that is, you know, pretty great, I think, because, you know, when you see someone, sometimes they have to hear it, sometimes they have to see it, sometimes they have to feel it. I have one student that wants to read the book right before they do it. I said, close the book, just try it. You know,
Do it.
so everybody is a little bit different. So, but being a teacher, being able to teach, like according to Howard Gardner, multiple intelligences, teaching at all different levels, all different you know, methods of learning, you're able to, you know, your skill set improves significantly.
Right, of course.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
No.
So Doreen,
Yeah.
as someone who grew up in Southside Jamaica, Queens, myself in New York, I got into a few scuffles, so to speak, in high school. Quite a fighter. I was known as Riddick Bowe and Rocky. Those were some of my nicknames. But I didn't have any skill. It was just, you know, straight up like aggression, strength, because people saw a tall woman walking by and they wanted to mess with her. My grandparents, being who they are, refused to teach me karate because they figured I would learn how to fight and get into even more fights. I now have 3 children, one of whom is a 2-year-old. Doreen, should every kid take karate?
Well, that's a great question. You know, first, did you ever see the movie Rocky III?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. At the end of the movie, he just passed Carl Weathers, his character, you know, Apollo Creed, says, "You fight great, but I'm a great fighter." So what you are, you fight great, I'm a great fighter. I know the skill of fighting, you know the heart of fighting. And you take someone that's got the heart of fighting and give them skills, that's a dangerous weapon. Okay? So, you know, I watched the news one morning, and there was a bouncer in a club. This guy was intoxicated. He was just dancing around, living life, having fun. The bouncer, whatever happened, walked over and just wound up and hit him with absolutely no kind of karate, boxing, you know, flat fisted right crushed his nose, pressed it, and the guy dropped without any skill. So this is a guy with a huge amount of, you know, body mass, and with the hit the target at the right spot and put the guy out, you know, and died. And it's as skilled as you can be, you need what you have, you know, to be that trained fighter. And back to your question, you know, so when you're teaching someone competitively, like I know some people know my son Anthony. He's Ward 3
Counselor
counselor.
Cogliandro, yes.
But he's got both. He's got that angst in him. He's a fighter at heart,
Right.
and he's got the amazing skill set that's incredible.
I hope so. I mean, he's got years of
He's
so.
he's incredible. He's an incredible fighter. But getting back to your question about should everybody take karate? Sure, of course, I want everybody to come and sign up at my karate studio. But if I had if I had to give advice, I would say to parents, let your children try everything. You know, I let my kids try, if they said, hey, we want to go to play piano, or if I want to learn to play the guitar, or if I want to play soccer, or, you know, whatever then one day they'll tell you their verb. They'll tell you what they like, and that's what you should help them to pursue. Not everybody is the same, you know. My Anthony was 2 when I brought him.
Oh.
And he got in line and he stood there and he said, yes, Mrs. C, and, you know, followed along like the other kids. And I was like, wow, he really gets it. And he's been doing karate ever since. My younger guy, couldn't get him until he was 5. And then at about 11, he said, I think I want to play the drums. I want to do music. So I bought him drums, you know. And of course, it broke my heart, you know, because I'm like, oh, I want my kid. But you know what? It's what he loved.
That's right.
No different than when my parents, when I told you earlier, when I said I want to do karate, they thought I was crazy, you know. So, but they let me, you know.
And
so.
despite the times, your father especially, his daughter.
But he really turned around when he saw what I was really doing, you know.
Yeah.
I think the karate skills and sets and forms and all the things the kids learn are secondary to the good citizenship and, you know, the honor and the respect and the dignity that they become, you know, that they learn. It's so important. Kids need that.
So how does a parent sign up a child with your school?
And one other thing, I just want to answer one more question about, you said that your parents thought that it would make you more aggressive. It actually does the reverse. It gives you a healthy way to channel that, you know, inner angst in you.
Right.
And you have a coach or a teacher or a mentor that will help you to say, this is the okay time to hit someone. This is not the okay time.
Right.
You know, and we have discussions like that with the kids all the time. Like, what if your little brother touched your stuff? Do you punch him in the head? And they go, you can see their eyes. They go, no. I go, do you feel like it? Yes. And I go, it's all right to feel that way. Right. You can feel that way, but don't act that way.
Exactly.
You know, so we talk about those things because being mad, I mean, you live in Revere, you can be, you know, driving here, you know, 5 you know, times I could have been mad at somebody driving, right? Anyway.
Oh, you went down Broadway? No.
Yeah, exactly, right. Anyhow, so just to finish that up is that, you know, I would love for everyone to do karate, but, you know, I think it's more important to be honest and true, you know, to parents that may be watching this. Find what your kid loves and help them do more of that.
I love that.
I love it.
So how does a parent sign up a child?
Oh, it's pretty simple. They give us a call over at the studio, and we'll give them a schedule. We'll try to find what times work best for them, and then we'll get them started. And
So they can get started this week or the following week?
They can start anytime. Our schedule is ongoing because what they do is after they're in a class, say for about 3 months, they're ready to move to yellow belt, they go to the yellow belt section. So the schedule stays the same. The kids just keep
moving.
You know, moving. Like they go kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, just kind of same
what's
school,
the
different
youngest
class.
age?
Once again,
Youngest age.
the youngest that I take is 3.
Wow.
You know, I took Anthony because he was my son, but
Right,
I actually only took him one day because my other boy was sick and he was stuck in the house with him. I said, do you want to come to karate with Mommy? And he said,
Well,
yes.
it worked out for him,
It
didn't
worked
it?
out pretty
Yeah.
good, yeah. So here he is, still
There he
doing the
is.
same thing.
Counselor Cogliandro right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Did you have any more questions?
Not at this time.
I just want to say, just on top of what you guys were saying, the core discipline that these children learn just through the experience. So like you said, you're an experienced teacher. Prior to all this, you were also an educator at the school, Revere High School, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, not to say it was innate in you, because I know that much of the core discipline, as you had said, came from, you know, your family and your parents. But I would say, you know, I think a good or an important thing for parents to know is that having their children have an understanding and having an educator that can kind of teach them these formalities and that core discipline, that is so important in development.
It is. I mean, I can tell you, there's a lot of really great kids at Revere High School, and then there's the knuckleheads that you wish would be absent, you know.
Fair enough.
And you know, but like I used to try with those kids. I would look a kid in the eye and say, "Can you and I have a discussion so that we can get along?
Yep.
I don't want to call the principal and send you down the assistant. You know, let's figure this out." I would talk to them like that, you know, and you know, most kids would look at me and go, "All right, miss, sorry, I was an idiot," you know, or like, "What did you act like that yesterday for?" You know, and "I'm sorry, I'm having a bad day," you know, like
just kind of open communication.
Yeah, because it's like, what good is punishment? Doesn't change what the kid's going to do.
Right.
Correcting, you know, like they call it like therapeutic repair, I guess, you know, like, you know, you try to repair the relationship so that, you know, you can figure out a way to move on and pass what happened. And I would say more times than not, that approach would, I wouldn't have repeat offenders.
There you go.
You know, I really wouldn't have repeat
Right,
offenders.
because you also built that connection with them, I believe, right?
And it's something I learned a lot. You know, kids don't care how much you know until they know that you care.
That's right.
It's a cliche-ish sound, but it's, if they don't think you give two craps about them, they're not going to do anything, no matter how great of an educator you are. You have to be a good people person.
You have to reach them.
You have
Yep.
to reach them. You have to connect with them in a way that, you know, and it's so hard because you signed up to be a teacher and you're, you know, mother, father, you know, doctor, lawyer, you know, whatever, you know.
Right.
You know, some of the questions, and not to, you know, the kids would ask me, I'd say, I always yielded to the professionals in the building. I say,
Right.
I'm going to set you up to see this person or that person because I'm a teacher, they're better at this than me.
Right.
Because that's why they're there. I'm not there to be a counselor or a social worker or a nurse or, you know.
Right.
So I would listen and I would get them to the person that could help them best. That's what I would do. So.
I love it.
I love it.
Well, thank you very much. I was really excited to have you on the show today because it's also Women's History Month. And we talked about female leaders. You are a female leader. You are a leader. Gender aside, you are a leader. You are a mother. You are a business owner.
Well, I will tell you one historic thing that I did do. I was the first woman in American Kempo to receive the rank of 10th degree black belt in the world. So
Wow.
that's pretty historic. So in honor of History Month, I'll share that piece of history
Nothing
about
but
myself.
respect for
Yes.
you. Wow.
Yes, you have my full respect. Thank you.
Absolutely. And a little
And
fear.
Just one thing is that if everybody knows that we now we're in our 5th location. We moved to 351 Revere Street. So the studio is there now. It's a big, beautiful facility. We're real excited. So come on down, check it out, and hope to see you there.
Absolutely. And if you can't find them, they're also on the Chamber directory on our website as well. So no matter what, they're there, and we'll get them to you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doreen.
ladies.
It's a pleasure. What an amazing experience it was to have Doreen join us. Now we're going to move into our next guest, Amanda Portillo.
Come on in, Portillo. And good afternoon. We are back with our second spotlight guest today. We have multi-entrepreneur. Does someone have a scroll? Amanda Portillo, a woman of many hats. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I am very grateful to be here today.
I believe there's another Portillo in the house today, though.
That is
What's
true.
your name, sir?
Angelo Portillo.
All right.
Welcome,
Nice.
Angelo.
Welcome. All right. So, Mom, tell us all about yourself.
Well, first and foremost, again, I'm very, very thankful to be here today. Obviously, also former executive director of the Revere Chamber of Commerce. So to see you in this role and all the things that you're doing and just carrying on the legacy, keeping this thing going, is just awesome to see. But in terms of who I am outside of being a mom to two great, wonderful kids, Angelo and Layla. I got to give a shout out to Layla, who's also 13. I am primarily a job search coach and certified professional resume writer. I also work with business owners that are looking to improve operations or individuals that are looking to start service-based businesses. However, I also own a painting company, Portillo Property Partners, and also Bizzy Women Social, which is primarily an events company. I have a business partner, Lauren Maloney, who's also a fellow Revere girl. I've known Lauren, been friends with her since I was 6 years old. And we basically produce really big events every season at the Spring Hill Suites Marriott Hotel on Revere Beach. I think you interviewed Erica at one point, staff from the hotel before, I don't remember, sorry.
Yes. Erica Aulino and Johan.
Johan, yes.
Yep.
We have such a wonderful relationship with them. They're so great. And basically the intention and purpose of those events is really to promote and uplift and unite women in business, female business owners just like us, badass women that are doing amazing things across greater Boston. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Which aspect of your work should we hit on? Because you're a woman of many hats, like I said. But it's really an honor to have you, and also our other segment, we're spotlighting Doreen DiRienzo today, or as you call her, Mrs. C.
Mm-hmm. She's going to be a vendor at the next Bizzy Market on March 23rd.
That's
so
right.
So awesome. It's grateful to have her.
Yeah, and I wanted to dive into that. So why don't you hit on that a little bit? So that's happening.
Yeah.
What should we expect?
So yeah, our next event, it's on Saturday, March 23rd, Spring Hill Suites Marriott. It's the new hotel that's really, really close to Drift. And you can expect, it's really an event for all ages. So we will be having about 30, I would say 35 women-owned businesses that will be setting up a table to either promote or sell their products or services. And we also will be offering a whole wide range of free activities or attractions for again, all ages. So we have a free cookie decorating station. We have the Easter Bunny that's going to be there. We have a free photo booth. We have crafts. We will have, this isn't free, but we will have a bar on site. Of course, Mission Beach House is right on site if you want to grab a bite to eat, either for lunch or dinner or brunch. We also will have live music. Oh, I am also a performer, and now I'm performing, and this is another hat.
Yep.
I get gigs now. I know. So I will be singing some songs with also my daughter Layla. We'll be doing a couple duets.
Oh my goodness.
So we'll have live music from Unity Music School, me along with other students, performers, and it's just going to be a great day. What's so cool is it's inside.
That's right.
You know, there's a lot of these sort of events that you see from time to time, markets and things like that, and you know, sometimes it's not that fun because it's raining or it's chilly or it's snowing or whatever. This is so comfortable. Ton of free parking right on the beach, or you can take the Blue Line to Wonderland Station. You can park in Wonderland Garage, and like I said, it's truly an event for all ages. It's not just a kids event or family event.
Absolutely. And where can the audience, where can we all get information on that?
So couple different places, I would say. Hop to our website, BizzyWomenSocial.com. You'll see all the event information, or you can go to our Facebook page, Bizzy Women Social, or Instagram, and you will definitely see all the information about the event.
And how does one become a vendor there?
That's
Is it already filled with vendors?
Yeah, it's all full, and actually at this point we're beginning to recruit for our next market, which is going to be on June 29th. I think it's a Saturday, and we're beginning to recruit. If you are a women-owned business that would like to participate, you want to try to fill out that application as soon as possible. You'll find it again on our website, BizzyWomenSocial.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. We also have a Facebook group called Greater Boston Women in Biz. So as long as you're following us, you're going to know. You will know.
Awesome. I love it. And then if you don't mind my asking, I'd like to hit on the other hat. So let's talk about Portillo Property Partners, because your family as a whole has really grown that business. You guys are doing an amazing job. I see a lot of the posts, but I also know, just like in the neighborhood, people talk about the work that Gabriel and the team do. And I know that you oversee a lot of the marketing and operations for that. You guys are doing an amazing dynamic job. So I just wanted to hit on that. Anything coming up that we should know about as far as Portillo Property Partners?
No, I just would say, you know, we're still serving residential clients.
Awesome.
But we're really, really grateful that in a fairly short period of time, we've been really able to establish some great partnerships with commercial businesses, local restaurants, local construction companies, local property management companies. we recently established a partnership with a really big residential building in East Boston.
Awesome.
So, you know, I would just say any advice to those looking to start or grow a business, I mean, things definitely take time. And it's really just important to keep showing up, keep promoting, keep, of course, providing a good service at the end of the day. I mean, you have to do a good job, but
Exactly. Yeah.
be patient and just be consistent. Keep showing up.
And I do have to ask, how do you do it? I know, right? How, like,
I don't know.
How do you do it? And I think, and people come to me and they say, Erica, how does Amanda do it? And
Well,
I'm not Amanda, so you tell me.
I think I think people will be surprised that I primarily work. Maybe my son will have a different perspective. I don't actually work as much as people would think. When my kids are in school, I am pedal to the metal. I try to be really focused and I really try to be very efficient. I will say that as I've grown as a business owner, I've been able to find new ways, innovative ways to manage my time better, and also, you know, change pricing. You know, the higher you charge, of course, you have to have the value behind it, right? You have to earn that. But I can work with less people now for a different rate than I had maybe when I started out. So things just take time. Some weeks are tougher than others, some are lighter than others, but time management is huge. And I really, really do try that after 2:30, 3 o'clock when I get these kids at school that I'm more of the domestic Amanda Portillo. I'm laundry, folding clothes, taking them to all their activities, dinner, bedtime, you know, he knows. Sometimes mom isn't all that, sometimes mom's a little cuckoo in the evening.
That's okay.
Running around. But yeah,
Mom's a boss.
I've learned over time to manage my time better, but I'm not perfect and I still have a ways to go.
So what would you say to our audience and other business owners that are, you know, have their hands in many different things like yourself? Time management?
Time management, ask for help. Also, one of the things that I've learned how to do is to reduce, I don't want to say reduce services, but focus on what's working the most for you and focus on that.
Great
Because
advice.
I will say with Bizzy, that's a really great example, is that we started this business with a completely different perspective or goal. We were a social networking group. We were doing monthly networking events. We were doing calls twice a month. We had a Facebook. We had like so much going on, and we got Lauren and I, super spread thin, super burnt out after a year. We were thinking of closing it. And we said, what is working the most, not just for us, but for the people that we want to serve the most? And we decided it was the markets. And now for Bizzy, instead of me having all these things that we have to execute within 30 days, we just have 4 events a year.
Wow.
And we earn more than we were prior, and we're also providing a better service than we were previously, because our vendors, the women that come to these markets, it's a market that they've never experienced before.
It's amazing.
It's an unbelievable event, you know, and I'll get emotional when it's kind of pedal to the metal right now because we have a week and a half left to promote to the community. I got to make sure people show up for my vendors, right? Because they're at the end of the day kind of
people,
like,
because
please
it's
show up.
amazing.
It really is.
Yes.
But it's very fulfilling and it's a lot of hard work. But at the end of the day, it's just a beautiful thing to see unfold. Not just for us, but to see a woman who just started a business make a sale and like have that confidence with herself finally to be able to tell the world what she's been working on all this time. And it's just really cool. It's really cool. But it takes time. Everything takes time.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you also help women to write resumes.
Not just women.
People.
That's really
Okay.
where I started my entrepreneurial journey. Is I always worked professionally in HR and talent acquisition. I wrote resumes as a side hustle since 2010, when side hustling wasn't even really like a concept. And in 2018, I mustered up the courage to say, you know what? I think I want to be a business owner. I think I'm going to try to make that happen. There was a lot of other reasons why I decided to do that as well, but But yeah, I work with people typically at like the mid to executive level. They're ready to move on to the next phase in their career, but for whatever reason, they're feeling a little bit lost and stuck in how to do that. So not only do I help them with more of the strategic, surface level tactical stuff, resume writing, LinkedIn profile development, executing the right strategy, I also work with them a lot on how to improve or transform their mindset, gain more confidence in themselves, believe in what's possible for them, because especially, you know, folks that are a little bit older, you know, we all hold on to thoughts that do not serve us very well. I work with a lot of older job seekers. They're worried about ageism. They're worried about being judged by their age. Then I work with the younger people. They're worried about being judged by their age too. You know, like we all have our stuff. So those are the things that I really am passionate about in terms of helping people just shift their way of thinking to
Well, you helped my
lay out
career.
the path, huh?
You helped my career. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you.
No,
I mean that, and I say to people all the time, but I just want to say it here. You know, like Amanda said, I mean, you hired me, and you took me in. You like I'm an orphan or something. You took me in as a board member, but I really wanted to get my feet wet in this community, and you made me feel so comfortable. It was actually you and Mayor Patrick Keefe that really made me feel so comfortable coming into a new community. And the funny thing is, I tell people all the time not to get too much into myself, but I get kind of shy socially. People always say, well, how's that possible? Well, it's people like yourself that we have to give each other a chance. And you gave me a chance. And you're in a position where you create a pathway for me to grow as an individual and as a professional. And I see that the work you do in all your facets, most importantly with your job coaching and job searching and all the different skills and expertise you offer people. And I just want to say thank you, because once again, I would not be where I am right now if it wasn't for you. So listen, as you yawn, because I like to talk a lot, just know that your mom is awesome.
And I just want to say
Yeah.
that I've heard Erica sing your praises
Yes.
from the first day that I joined the chamber.
Yeah.
So
Thank
you have absolutely
I
been
really
amazing.
appreciate that.
So I can
you
only
earned it.
imagine what you do
Yeah.
and how it transpires for other people.
Well, you earned it. You stepped up to the plate, and you're in that position because you deserve it. But
But you told me, like, Erica, be a boss. Be a leader.
I have. We've had some conversations.
Yeah, she bucked me up. So
Yeah, and it's great to see you thrive, and really, I got it started, but that was my purpose at the time. I just had to light the match and get things started, and I'm just really glad to see it continue, and I think they're very, very lucky to have you in that position. Just side note, this one over here I love so much. He keeps me humble. He keeps me humble with everything that I do. He loves his mom, but he keeps me humble.
Angela, do you have any words for the audience?
Hi.
Hi. All right. Oh. Awesome. Is there anything else that you want us to touch on with
Just to wrap up,
please.
I am doing a 4-part job search mastery sort of class series starting on Monday, March 18th. It is run, I don't know if that's the right word, I apologize, but it's hosted or sponsored by our community center. Charlie Jafrida is sort of like in charge, the leader of that. Love Charlie Jafrida.
Mr. G.
And so for the next 4 Mondays, starting on March 18th, I will be running a class for job seekers of all ages, all experience levels, all industries at 5:45 to 7 o'clock. I think it's just $10. I don't know exactly the website to go to.
Okay, fair enough. How about this? The Chamber's going to follow up with this once we get this video out, and we're going to make sure that the crowd has that information so that they can sign up.
And just quickly, the 4 sessions, session 1 is on resume writing and cover letter writing. The second is on LinkedIn profile development. Then we're going to go into job search strategy and branding, and then we'll wrap up with interview prep and salary negotiation. So the full kit and caboodle.
How many courses is that?
Yeah. Well, it's like 8 blended into 4, but we're going to make it happen.
Awesome.
And I'm really looking forward to it. I feel very, very lucky that I get to, even though I'm not, with the chamber anymore, and that was so awesome to like really get more involved in my own community where I've been born and raised.
Yeah.
I still am very blessed to have these opportunities in my community because I serve people from all over, but when I get to serve people from my own community, it just hits a different way.
You do a lot for this community, and we're grateful to even have you here today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, ladies.
Angelo, it's a pleasure to have you today as well.
The last thing, this is a real life student from Mrs. C's class. He just earned his yellow belt. I'm so proud.
All right, right there.
Congrats, Angela.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
And that is our interview with
Wonderful.
Amanda Portillo.
We just had the amazing Amanda and her son. How on earth does she do it all?
I ask myself all the time. I ask her all the time. She doesn't really offer much, but she does it, and it's amazing.
Wow, and Angelo was just the cutest. So happy that he joined us today.
Pleasure.
And now we're going to move into the segment with our third guest, the amazing Kristina Yannotta, a professional photographer and videographer.
And welcome back, everyone. Today we are sitting here with our next spotlight guest, business owner, professional photographer, and videographer, Kristina Yannotta. Welcome.
Thanks, guys. It's really great to be here today.
So happy to have you, Kristina. So, Kristina, as a woman in her 40s, moving closer to 50, I've noticed things have started to change when I take pictures. What on earth do you think about all of the filtering technology and face apps and things like that out there that some people use? Sometimes it looks a little obvious.
This is a very good question.
Like,
So, I mean, if you look at it, especially from like my perspective, I use Photoshop when I edit my photos, and whenever I'm editing photos, particularly like headshots or portraits, and if I'm the particular subject matter, like if the person does have a fair amount of wrinkles or if they have dark spots underneath their eyes, I will go in and do some light touch-ups there. And that was not necessarily before, you know, these filters on TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff became a big thing, but that type of technology was definitely in place before it became mainstream. Granted, the way that I use it, I'm not going to make you look, you know, if you're just for the sake of argument, let's say you're 60 years old, I'm not going to make you look 20 because people are going to look at that photo and be like, that doesn't
You can
look
do
like
it for me if you want.
because there is such a thing as over filtering, right?
Exactly, yeah. And with, you know, the filters on like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all of these different apps, they're really just, I'm pretty confident that when they were made with the intention of like fun, like entertainment, you know, fun stuff, things like that. And this is kind of anything with, you know, media and technology in general, it's not necessarily good or bad, it's just how you use it. So if your intention is like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm starting to age too much and, you know, I need to make myself look younger, then maybe, you know, you might need to look internally at yourself a little bit more. But
Or retinol and collagen, but that's fine. Yeah.
right. But it's really, I personally don't necessarily like see it as a problem or anything because I, you know, use it on a, not necessarily a regular basis, but, you know, for like touch-ups and things like that here and there. Yeah, I think that, you know, it's really just personal use and how you use it.
Fair enough.
So let's dive into your business. You're a business owner. I mean, you're a professional photographer, videographer. Let's talk about your work. You own Triad Productions. Tell us about Triad Productions.
So I've been wanting to make my own production company since I was a teenager. A little backstory about how I got into all this. So when I was 13 or 14 years old, I grew up in New Jersey. And on a good day with no traffic, which you really only got at like 3 in the morning, I was 25 minutes away from New York City. So my mom and I, we would go into the city every so often and we would see local bands play. And I brought a camera with me and I would take photos, and eventually that turned into me. This was back at the time before thumb drives were really a thing. I would bring CDs of the photos, yeah, and be like, here's the photos from the last show that you did, here's the photos from the last show you did. And that just, like, I knew that that was my calling, that that was something that I really wanted to do at a young age. And so in high school, I made sure that I continued to pursue the arts, and also in college, I picked up videography. Video editing was very much a big learning curve at first for me.
Is it difficult? From someone that...
For me personally, it was, because I came from a photography perspective. I was like, the images are moving.
It's like a different
I don't know what to,
modality of that,
I
right.
don't know what to do.
Right.
But it's kind of like riding a bike. So, you know, when you first learn how to ride a bike, it's always a little tough. But then once you get over that hump, it's like, oh, okay, I know the motions of this now.
Right.
Granted, you know, it's like learning a bike, which can be frustrating at times. But once you get over that, you know, you get into that flow and it's really great. So fast forward to now, I finally felt that I was in a good place to really form my company, and I've been working on it like on and off like throughout the years, but I officially formed it and I submitted the paperwork and got everything all finalized in October of 2022. So still very fresh, although I've been doing this work ever since I graduated college, but it feels really great to be able to finally achieve the goal that I've always wanted to do ever since I was a teenager.
Yeah, and something you're obviously very passionate about too.
Right, right. How fulfilling that must feel.
It really is. It's a lot of fun every day. I'm not
can
gonna
see the
lie.
joy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really love, you know, talking with clients, seeing what their needs are, and helping them bring those needs to reality. Because especially in today's day and age, you know, you were mentioning, you know, filters and things like that. TikTok is very much everywhere. YouTube has very much exploded. And, you know, Instagram with reels and things like that. And not even just that, with photography as well. Like, we do very much live in a very visual society. And businesses, you know, maybe not every business doesn't necessarily need it, but a lot of businesses do benefit from having visual presence on their social media, on their websites, and other outlets like that. So for me, it brings me so much joy that I can help other, you know, individual small businesses and families, you know, thrive within what they do. One thing that I primarily focus on within my business is small businesses and individuals. Because when I was first looking to form this company, I was looking to see like what other production companies in the area were doing and whatnot. And they're all fantastic, but it looked like they were like really high end, like had really big clients and things like that. I didn't really see much of like the middleman. So I was like, you know what? I see a niche for small businesses, so I'm gonna start here. And so far it's been really great. The clients that I've been working with have been awesome and have been loving the work. So it's been a really great journey so far.
So for the business owners in our community, tell us a little bit about the services that you can offer.
So I offer a decent amount of different things. So I'll start with the videography aspect. So in video, if you just need something edited, like if you have footage and you just need it edited, I can easily do that. Awesome. If you just need something shot, Doreen, who was just on recently, I'm actually working on a couple of different projects with her where she just needs something filmed. So I'm just coming in and filming whatever she needs filmed, and I just give her the footage and she, you know, does whatever she needs with it later on. But beyond that, I also offer a couple of other different things. So I create videos for social media, so that can be anywhere from like 15 seconds to, you know, 90 seconds usually. I've created promo videos, which are, you know, pretty much just social media videos. I also do informative videos. I recently worked with a client. They wanted to have a video on their website that let people get to know them a little bit more. They were a chiropractor and they wanted to show people how they got into being a chiropractor, their journey, and what their goals are for their clients. So that's another thing that I do. I also do informative videos and things like that. And then on the photography side of things, I do headshots. I have a couple of different clients, both individual as well as, you know, companies that I do headshots for. I also do portraits, like family portraits and things like that. I do engagement photos and whatnot. I don't necessarily do weddings because that's a whole other breed that I'm not quite. I don't.
It's its own breed.
It very much is its own breed. I don't quite have the strength to tackle weddings, but I do engagement photos. I also do events.
Yep.
So
there you go. Anyone's hosting an event, give Kristina
Yes,
a call.
I'll be more than happy to take any photos you want, and also for video, I can also make highlight videos of events as well. And
cool.
I also do real estate, both for photography and videography.
We're gonna realtor.
Oh, okay, great. So if ever you need those services, feel free to let me know. And also, like, anything in between those things, like, if I always tell people, like, if it requires a camera, more often than not, I'll be able to offer it for you. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's awesome. And I love that you kind of cater to many different services. It's not just, one thing or one medium. I love that.
So
Yeah.
within the genre of photography and videography,
But that
you're
takes
sort
a lot
of
of
a woman
skill.
of many hats.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not the professional. You are, but it takes a lot of skill, to be able to pivot different. Would you say like a medium or like a different?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, for example, real estate photography versus headshots, those are two completely different things, different lighting, different, how you approach your client and things like that, like, especially, like, when approaching a client, especially from, like, questions that you need to get out of them so that you can make sure what exactly it is you're looking or what they're looking for. But I really do love these things, so I'm always looking to learn. Like, I know that I'm not done learning everything within this field. Like, whenever people tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, I actually had someone recently ask me, this was a potential client who was an I had worked for them a couple of years ago, but they asked me, so, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, like, absolute, like, terrible video editing to, like, Oscar winning, like, being 10, like, where do you fall within video editing? And I'm like, that's a really deep question.
Especially to put yourself out there. And
Yeah, so I know personally that there's always room for improvement, especially within this field, especially with the software that I use, especially with the cameras that are constantly evolving and things like that.
I was going to ask you about that.
Awesome, Kristina.
And how do you hedge against that, especially, I guess, in particular, with the changing technology? It's something you constantly have to be on top of, right?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's okay if you're not completely on top of it, because there are a lot of people that are within the industry that do like that niche look, you know, that do prefer the older cameras and things like that, which in many facets is a great thing about the industry, is that, and this kind of goes more towards like narrative, like movies and things like that, but if you look at the world of videography, like, it's from the start of its inception, it's always been documented. Like, we have evidence of it everywhere, like, from the time that it started up until now, which is amazing. So it is important to always make sure that you're staying on top of things and seeing what is new that is coming out and whatnot, but also at the same time, that might not necessarily be the look that you want.
Right, yeah.
Usually within the industry that I work with, corporate and family and things like that, it's good to stay up to speed with things, but, I love learning about this stuff.
How awesome. Thank you so much for all
Yeah.
of that great information.
So as spring is coming up on us, a lot of us are going to need headshots. How do we get in touch with you?
So you can get in touch with me through my website. I have a tab there that lets you schedule a meeting with me for a free consultation. That's triad-productions.com. I'm also on Instagram if you want to reach out to me that way as well, and all lowercase KYANNOTTA. And yeah, feel free to reach out, even if you don't necessarily need any of these services but want to, like, see how it's possible. Like, feel free to reach out. Like, I love talking about this stuff. So
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in today. It was a pleasure.
thanks for having me. This is really fun.
Kristina Yannotta, Triad Productions.
I certainly learned a lot from Kristina
And Amanda.
and Amanda.
And Doreen. I mean, what a great show. What a great way to kind of encapsulate Women's History Month.
Absolutely.
With such wonderful female entrepreneurs and leaders, really, in our community.
Absolutely. And this brings us to the end of our 11th episode of The Wave.